Oil is climbing higher again, while crypto and stocks are trending downward. To see what this means for risk assets and everything that happened this week, we'll go through it all together in detail now. Fear and greed is at only 26. So extreme fear is officially back in the market. Kaspa is trading down, XRP is down, Supra is seeing a drop of almost 12%, and VeChain is falling too. We'll go through what all of this means very closely right now. Welcome to 10x Analytics, your channel for data-driven stock and crypto analysis. On my channel, I really go through everything based on data. First, we'll go through the macro data because it's always important to understand what the overall market is doing and how everything is connected. After that, we'll do chart analysis again to see exactly where the target zones are and what significant major or minor points there are, including the dots in my 10x indicator. If you don't know my channel yet, I analyze stocks and cryptos completely based on data, doing chart analysis for entries and exits, which is especially interesting for traders. But we also look at, let's say, altcoins and stocks and analyze them completely based on data. And of course, I also want to find the best altcoins for the bull run now. If you don't want to miss that, then please subscribe to my channel now and hit the bell icon. Let's go through everything now. The overall market is currently in the neutral zone. As I said, we had inflation that cooled down a bit. ETF inflows are also cooling down, and Bitcoin dominance has risen a bit more strongly. At the same time, there's fear in the market. But as always, we'll go through everything based on data, so just grab a coffee and then we'll get started right away. So let's start with the fear and greed. It's at 26, which means fear is prevailing in the market. This always happens when, for example, the price falls, but also many people ultimately get scared and don't know what will happen next. So fear at the moment, and that's rather bearish for the market. Then we have the altcoin season index, which is at 30. That's Bitcoin season, which is rather bearish for altcoins. Bitcoin dominance at 56.5% is more in the neutral range, which favors Bitcoin. But let's take a look at how Bitcoin dominance is doing. Crypto market cap has gone down a bit, now slightly up again in the short term, but generally more in the bearish range when compared to the stock market, where the market cap is, of course, significantly higher. But the advantage is, of course, that with this low market cap, the potential is huge for the entire crypto sector. Let's take another look at the derivatives again. Funding rates are in fairly neutral territory. Open interest is also in a neutral range, but liquidations are bullish because some liquidations have occurred once again, leading to short squeezes or long squeezes. A total of 14 million longs and about 70 million shorts. So as you can see, we're mostly on the short side, but those were wiped out. Then let's look at liquidity again, which is the money flowing into the market. Extremely important. It actually doesn't look too bad overall right there. Bitcoin ETF flows are positive, with a total of almost 500 million going in again. Exchange flows are quite good because 8.2k Bitcoin were recently withdrawn from exchanges, which is definitely positive. This means it's more people who are hodling their coins instead of sending them to their exchange to sell. Furthermore, stablecoin Liquidity is also in the bullish range. And the M2 money supply, which is the liquidity, so to speak, is also positive and continues to rise. That means more and more money is being pumped into the market, to put it simply. Then let's look at the macro data down here. Those are generally more in the neutral range. The US dollar index is at minus 0.2, the US 10-year treasury yield is at 4.22%, and the VIX sits at 18.6. Then the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States is ultimately the one responsible for adjusting, raising, or lowering the interest rates for the rates, meaning how much money comes back onto the market, so to speak, what interest rates the banks get. It's currently at 3.63. The next meeting is on July 29th, so pretty soon. And 89% see that nothing will continue to happen. So yeah, it just stays in the neutral range here. Let's look at the upcoming catalysts. As mentioned, the FOMC meeting. Then we have the US inflation data on August 12th. Bitcoin options expire again on the 25th, so that was yesterday, exactly. And the jobs report is on August 1st for the USA, so that's also extremely relevant again. Yes, and if you want to understand the market, really completely data-based, but also want to find exciting altcoins and are completely overwhelmed by the market, then I can really recommend my 10x Insider. That's the start of my system and it's completely free. I have several tools there that really help you. For example, one, the 10x dashboard, a slimmed down version, but also my own, let's say, research bot that really finds cryptos, but also stocks from really extremely many sources. So you can take a look at everything on the website. I'm linking the QR code here. You can just scan it and then you'll get more info. But it's completely free, so it's actually a no-brainer. But now let's go into the chart analysis together. Yes, let's start as always with Bitcoin to first put everything back into perspective where Bitcoin stands right now. We had formed two big green dots here, right? Those were possible bottom formations because we were sold off and then possible bottom formation. And after that, we also rose twice actually, but interestingly, we always hit a wall right here where Bitcoin just couldn't break through. And now it was really interesting. Now a large red dot has formed. A large red dot means a possible top formation. You always have to be careful, and then we were sold off as well. The 10x indicator also creates, at the same time now in my latest version, which isn't live yet, I'm still testing it, but it creates a target zone so you roughly know where the journey might lead. It's no guarantee, but it's a data-based calculation. And as we can see, the target zone was also hit. But here, this is sort of the median, and this is the maximum in theory. So as you can see, we almost hit the median here, but of course it could still go down further. So far, there's no other sign either. No small green dot has formed yet. The small green dot would mean that we have a possible bullish trend change, and red would of course mean a possible bearish trend change. So we are currently in the zone. I personally assume that we'll go down a bit further, especially with the large red dot. That actually always suggests, also because we're on a one-day chart, that it will go down further. Down here too, we see that ultimately also shows ranges, right? If you're up here in the range, it's more the bearish zone because we're overbought here. Down here we are oversold. Here is more the bullish zone, and we already see we've just arrived up here in the bearish zone and the way down is still long. Under normal circumstances, we could now see a longer correction, and for me personally, it will be exciting again when we get down here. And a large red dot, a large green dot forms here. So a possible bottom formation, and then I might make my next DCA entry again. And maybe it won't even take that much longer until I invest in altcoins again. If you don't want to miss when I invest in altcoins, I share everything in my 10x Invest membership. You can use the link here, then you'll get more info. There are really some tools included that build on the 10x Insider membership and are also significantly better and more efficient. So basically to do everything, to find altcoins, to find stocks, to really just get a market overview as well, and everything you actually really need in terms of tools in the crypto or stock market. But it's best to take a look for yourself. But let's move on to the altcoins now. First of all, what does the general structure of altcoins look like at the moment? As we can see right here, we had a small red dot appearing and we actually managed to hit the target too. Let's see how the situation develops now with the altcoins, but for now, there is no new sign here. There is definitely still quite a bit of room to the downside here as well. Let's look at Ethereum. How does it look for Ethereum? We had a large red dot, was sold off after that. Target hasn't been hit 100% yet. We've already entered the zone, but not yet the median. But here too, we are up here in the overbought zone. There's still more than enough room to the downside. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana recently formed a small red dot here. We just barely reached the edge of the zone here, but there is still room to the downside for Solana as well. So the target zone would be around 70 here, and we will wait and see how it plays out. Here we also see there's definitely still a bit of room to the downside. Next, let's look at XRP. There too, we recently had a small GRE red dot hit the zone very slightly, but not completely yet. There's also potential down to about 1.0174. There, but also here in general, we still have room to the downside, right? I would also wait and see there for now. Let's look at Kaspa. How does it look for Kaspa? Kaspa, we had a small red dot here. The zone hasn't been hit yet, so Kaspa is still quite strong because a small green dot formed recently, actually just today, but the candle hasn't closed yet, so it doesn't have a new target zone yet. We'll have to wait and see if the candle closes. Then a new target zone will emerge. I'll share exactly what the target zone looks like in my 10x Insider. So if you don't want to miss that, just make sure to sign up for the 10x Insider here completely for free. It also looks quite exciting for Kaspa right now because we're already quite deep in the oversold zone here. In my view, if there's another sell-off now and we go down here and form a big green dot, then a very exciting zone will definitely emerge in the near future. Next, let's look at Internet Computer. Internet Computer, especially popular on my English channel. I personally like Internet Computer too because it's technically extremely strong, and that's why the video on Internet Computer Tech is up here. If you don't know it yet, I can only recommend it. Internet Computer is technologically and fundamentally extremely strong. There was a tiny little green dot showing up recently, suggesting a potential bullish trend reversal, but that hasn't been confirmed yet either. Therefore, the target zone from the small red dot still applies, which wasn't hit here either. So altcoins are showing a relatively bullish trend right now, or at least demonstrating strength by not experiencing a sell-off here regarding the target zone. But even with Internet Computer, I personally would rather wait and see at the moment. If a zone emerges down here, let's say where a big green dot appears, then an exciting situation could arise. Next, let's look at Supra. Many of you also find Supra to be extremely strong as a technology. I do too personally, but let's take a look at the chart now. A small red dot formed there, F here on the 26th. After that, we saw a sell-off. The zone was also hit well. Now it's stabilizing slightly, but no small green dot or anything yet. We're also quite far from this zone here, so as I said, I'd be careful there for now. In my view, there's still quite a bit of room to fall. Then Cardano. How's Cardano looking? We had a small red dot here as well, but the zone hasn't been hit yet. Relatively slight strength in altcoins there too. We'll see, but there's still room to fall here too. So I'd rather wait here until we reach the lower zone. Then we come to VeChain, also quite exciting. We recently formed a small GRE red dot there. The zone was hit and it even almost reached the median level too. And then it showed some slight signs of strength again right here. There is definitely still some room to fall further until we finally reach the oversold zone. But there is no significant change for VeChain here for now. As I said, the zone was hit well. Now we'll see if we get a tiny little green indicator dot right here and observe whether the market strength returns to this level or fails to do so. The specific zone we are watching would be located at 0.04323 at most without any doubt at all. Yes, so much for the chart analysis for now. If you don't want to miss chart analyses like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I really do this every Sunday, a full chart analysis with macro data, just like in this video. But I also make many other deep dive videos, especially on projects like Kaspa, Internet Computer, Supra and VeChain. And of course, I cover all the brand new altcoins I find on the market every single day. So I'll link another video here that I made recently. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.